Hello again, YouTube. My question for Christians regarding homosexuality video has gone pretty well. I've really enjoyed the responses I've gotten from individuals, mostly non-believers, targeting my statement about the nature of biblical inerrancy. Very quickly, though this isn't the point that I want to make in the video, it is worth noting that I only stated that I believe in the inerrancy of the Bible. I did not so much state that the Bible has no errors, and therefore I don't think that I necessarily bore any burden of proof. It seems as though the person saying that the Bible has an error is the individual who has to furnish proof for that proposition. I gave simply a statement of my personal feelings on the matter concerning what the Bible has to say, not what I considered to be uh, something that I was going to defend uh, at that particular point. It was merely intended to be said to give believers a comfortable environment to challenge me. Speaking of challenges, that's what I want to address this time. Not so much that any particular individual raised a challenge that is noteworthy, um, but Stand to Reason, str.org, a group of Christian apologists, handle a number of issues regarding proving the Christian faith to be true. Um, Somewhat of a fan myself, not on this particular issue. They have taken exception to homosexuality and leveled arguments as to why. And one of the issues that I addressed last time was this sort of argument from the coupling of Adam and Eve, that because this is the way they were created in the beginning, that this is therefore the way that it ought to be for all of us. And I have charged, apparently as others have charged, that they are aware of, that this commits the naturalistic fallacy. That is to say, one is reasoning from an is to an ought. Now they've received this challenge enough to feel the need to respond to it, um, and the essential nature of their response is that when you include intention in design, that this solves the problem. That is to say, that because God intended a man and a woman to be together, and thus the design follows that intention, that it is immoral, therefore, to violate the design in this particular case. If I can quote them at length from the STR website, which I will put a link to at the bottom of the video, uh, they say the following. One way of arguing against homosexuality is to say that males were not intended to have sex with other males, and we can tell this by the way sexual organs appear to be intended to function. Because men were not intended to have sex with other males, and they do so, and they are violating their natural teleology, their natural function. But notice that in the nature of the argument, we are making a moral claim implicitly up front. We are saying we ought to use things in the way they were intended by their maker to be used, consistent with their theology. This isn't that way, therefore it is wrong. It's not arguing merely on how bodies are naturally, but how they are intended to function naturally. The teleology, pardon me, is the moral term in the premises. Um, I have to say that I'm not particularly impressed. This doesn't seem to be a very good resolution of the problem. It seems to simply bring the problem back up. It seems as though that regardless of what the intention was, it doesn't automatically make a situation immoral. The example I gave last time, I think, still uh, obtains at this point, and that was that we are designed with the intention to walk on our feet, but if we do in fact choose to walk on our hands, we haven't done anything immoral. And so my question to STR is, why would you think that this is the case? Um, in any event, this is one of the more popular and presumably one of the more powerful arguments against gay marriage. It's one of the ones that is supposedly found in Romans and in other verses in the Bible. I don't think that's properly interpreted. I think it has much more to do with convention, that is to say, Paul's understanding of nature does, than it does with the way things were from the beginning. If that were the problem that Paul had with homosexual behavior, then he could, as he cited in the example with women not being allowed to teach, as did Jesus with the example of divorce, they could just simply say, that is not the way things were from the beginning, but they say something very different. They say that it's unnatural. Um, and I won't go into the full details of uh, where I'm getting my understanding of nature from. I do recommend a book by Jack Rogers entitled Jesus, the Bible, and Homosexuality in that regard to get a fuller argument on behalf of that. In any event, I hope to see more arguments furnished by Christians, even non-Christians, as to what might be the problem with homosexuality. This seems to be a very important debate. It's headlining our news today, and it's something that impacts people's personal lives. I'm trying to give an idea of a resolution as a Christian that fits with a legitimate sense of what is right and wrong. Um, Attack the Christian worldview if you want, but I'm only trying to help society move along without creating an extra tension between Christians and non-Christians. I'm not so much trying to uh, be an apologist in this particular instant for Christianity. Though I will defend whatever I feel is under attack within reason. I won't go too far off subject, but in any event, that's one of the more powerful arguments, or supposedly, and I still don't think that there's any way to reconcile it and make it sound. The idea offered by STR didn't seem to work. Um, but in any event, keep commenting, keep giving arguments of your own. Thank you for your time.